just trying to get a stop, like, as much as possible. We know if any of us, like Lee, Rodney, Keese, or Lucky, or even Hawker, Aaron Tate, get a ball and they foul, we're going to have confidence in knocking the free throw down.
Rodney, what was it like after nerve-wracking that last 4 minutes?
It was just one of those situations where Delaware was in a position where they was just coming down and shooting, and they were getting the foul call all night, and the backboard was there for them. We had to keep our heads high and make sure we didn't get down or get out of control setting up our press break, because then they could have created more turnover. So it was good that we stayed strong even though we finished ugly.
Guys, you the first few times Delaware put that full court press on, you guys seemed to break it pretty easy. Late in the game, we saw some turnovers. There was even a possession with 3 straight inbounds that went out of bounds. Did Delaware change it up at all later in the game, or what kind of led to the struggles of breaking the full court press late?
I think with foul trouble situations, everybody was playing different situations on the floor. We wasn't organizing as well. We was grabbing the inbounds pass right away and not letting our offense get set. So I think that was a big issue for us.
Do you guys feel like this is a team that's struggling to find some consistency right now, not just from game-to-game basis, but just in the context of one game?
Definitely. I think we're trying to find consistency as far as personality within the group, like what personality as far as leadership, as far as energy, as far as just coming every day, bringing it. We got to find more consistent personalities for us to be more consistent on the floor.
For both of you guys here, I mean, is this a team that kind of needs to develop, like maybe not a killer instinct, but kind of learn how to really close out games once you get sent like a 16-point lead late in second?
Yeah, we need that killer instinct, and we're starting to practice. And we just, ain't got to be consistent. That's all it really is.
What can you learn from this, especially the last 7 minutes of this game?
Details matter. Like, you can't get lazy, you can't get sloppy, you got to stay sharp. And we got to keep our foot on the gas pedal. Like, when we got that 16-point lead, we kind of exhaled and they punched us in the face. And when we get 16-point leads like that, we got to keep executing offense and keep high intensity on defense and finishing our possessions with a rebound.
David, how much point have you played?
It's like
Point guard, how much point guard?
I played point guard all my life. That's why they got me listed as a combo guard. I played point and shooting guard. I played it all my life, basically.
So it's not unfamiliar.
It's just different position I got to adjust to when I come to Ron Morris or just everything like that. But all my life I've been playing point guard.
Hey, what's the Geedy thing?
What you say?
Geedy, what is that?
Oh, that's my little brother that died. And he died on the basketball court. He had a enlarged heart.
When was that?
This was, 4 years ago?
Yeah, when you were down there in the first half, Dave, was that just kind of one of those plays where you just kind of like landed hard on your knee, or?
I had bumped knee with my right knee, and my left knee hit the ground,
Okay.
and my shoulder kind of twisted up. It was just like I had to like breathe, just take like a couple breaths before it, but I just kept fighting. Like at the end of the day, I still had pain in there, but I just kept on fighting.
Rodney, your ankle, was that like,
Yeah.
my myers wasn't looked like you hung in there?
Yeah, it was a sharp pain in there. I still limped when I got back in, but I know my team wanted me on the floor, so I had to finish out the game for them.
With playing away winless teams tonight and then having a road game against an ACC team next week, do you all kind of view this as a game that you all really need, almost to the point of maybe like a must-win type situation?
I think it's a must play well situation. Like going in, it's ACC. Every night we want to win when we step on the ball floor, but we want to play really well against them and take that into conference. We don't want to go in there and get blown out or no energy or lack of detail. We want to go in there with full detail, full energy, flying around so we can start this conference season off right.
Well, you were saying it was a must play well type of a situation. Do you feel you guys accomplished that, even though it's kind of an up and down game?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Obviously very thankful we were able to pull the win out. I thought we had a really good stretch of basketball. I thought we started the game very well. I thought we had a really good stretch of basketball when we were able to build our 15-point lead or whatever it ended up being. 15, 16, or 17. And then because of our excitement, I guess, we took our foot off the gas a little bit, and that's what we got to take from the game and learn from about how to close games out the right way. Obviously, we had some odd lineups out there at times, so we weren't as fluid as we should be or could be. But either way, I'm excited that we were able to step up, make free throws down the stretch, and do enough to pull out the win.
How big was that? You made 16 straight free throws there. With the way things were going, that was pretty huge.
Yeah, it was, because we weren't getting the stops that we needed, and so if we didn't continue to score, we would have been in real trouble. And guys being able to step up and knock them down, especially after the first half, where we were 7 for 13 in the first half. And that's just, points that we give away. And so for guys to go up there and knock them down with confidence, obviously, Lucky made a bunch, Marquise made a bunch. Those were really important shots.
It seemed early in the game you guys broke the press pretty well, but then late in the game we saw some turnovers and just some struggles. Did you feel that way, or did you feel like Delaware was kind of changing things up at all, or what led to some of the troubles?
I think their press became more aggressive. They had a little bit of a soft press going, which we were able to break easily. And then the first couple of times they tried to, really trap us, we were able to get, good fast breaks and layups out of it. But again, I just think it goes back a little bit to the idea of the game's over. Well, hold on, there's still 4 minutes on the clock. And so some of our communication, some of our organization, some of the areas where guys were catching the ball was just, trouble spots. And the guards were, we had Jafar and Dave in there, and their guards were switching on our attempts to get open, and they weren't adjusting very well. And so, we're trying to coach it on the fly, trying to throw some new bodies in and see if we can, figure it out. And obviously for them, it gets easier to be more aggressive because, if they give up something over the top, well, it's not a big deal. So I just think it comes with, some maturity and understanding of how to close games out.
Not just in this game, but on kind of a game-to-game basis, how much is this team really looking for consistency right now?
Lauren, that's like the best question I've heard in a long time. We are dying for some consistency. And as you can tell from lineups, from minutes played, from game-by-game shooting percentages, or activity level or body language, we don't have it yet. And hopefully, winning 2 out of 3 is something that we can build on a little bit. Obviously, the one in between was nothing to write home about. But at some point in time, we got to have some guys that step up and can be those guys day in and day out. And if you look at our stats when we win or when we lose, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. And you can't be a very good team if you're doing that. That's how you become a 500 or below team. And so, not only the consistency in terms of offensive execution, but I just think consistency and overall effort and energy is really the biggest thing that we need on a regular basis.
You didn't play with your point guard tonight. You had kids step up. What did that mean for their phone?
I just think it's, again, I hope that is something that we can build off of. We didn't play with Lucky against Duquesne, and we thought that was something we could build off of, and then we go to Toledo and aren't ready to play. So we'll, I guess, have to see what happens at Clemson before we can answer that question. It's just kind of who we are right now, and we'll continue to talk about it and hammer it home and try and have good practices and try and get the message across and get people prepared. But a lot of times that comes down to some individual decision-making about how you prepare yourself night in and night out.
Did it bother you against the press not having the team on?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I think, those last 4 or 5 minutes where you really want to maybe shrink the game, where you want to handle pressure, where you need kind of a singular voice out there to make sure that guys are in the right spots. Lucky did it really well on 3 or 4 possessions, but, on a couple of possessions it got chaotic, and we had, Rodney grab the ball to take it out, and, no one was ready yet, and, so those are all things that, we need to keep going over so that we can, tighten those things up regardless of who might be in the game at that time.
I know that you hate kind of using youth as a crutch for any of these teams, for any of the team's struggles here, except with that inconsistency that we were talking about earlier. Do you think this team's relative inexperience kind of plays a role in that at all?
Yes and no. No, because some of our most inconsistent players are some of our most experienced. So I could see if you sat here and said, man, you got 5 dudes that have experience, and those guys are your rocks, and those guys are playing, you know, at least at this baseline, night in and night out. You can't even really say that. Sometimes our best performers are our young guys. And so I think it's really a crapshoot up and down the roster. And wherever it comes from, it needs to come quickly, and it needs to come consistently. You know, I thought Lucky played very well tonight. I thought he was engaged. I thought he was playing hard. I thought he communicated as well as he has. I thought he took good shots out there. I think he took 1 guarded 3 in the beginning of the game that, you know, he didn't go back into that. You know, we talked about him maybe not settling for some of those shots. And so hopefully it's something that he can build on. You know, Rodney obviously has had great performances and then has had some difficult ones. You know, hopefully he's learning every time he steps on the floor. You know, Marquise obviously is very talented, but still learning. And so, you know, those guys are expected to be up and down. But Stephen Hawkins and Aaron Tate and Dave Apollon and Lucky Jones and Kayvon Stewart, those guys, we got to understand exactly what we're getting from 4 out of 5 of them on a nightly basis.
How many rocks do you think you have? Like, are you 3 bricks shy of a load?
I like that one.
Okay.
Are y'all expecting Kayvon back for the Clemson game?
Yes.
Any other questions for Coach?